Right. So, first of all, obviously, we have to put into context, like, why do you think Zambian youth think they're not lazy and that the problems can't be blamed on them?
I mean, I guess some people are trying, like, in their own way. I mean, just because, like, we can't see what most Zambian youth are doing, it doesn't mean they're not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So maybe behind the scenes they are trying, and therefore we see it as them being lazy because we haven't seen anything being done. So, yeah.
Granted, I mean, coming from Kitwe, I think it's very... if anybody tries to do anything, it's really in your face because it's such a small town. Compared to, I think your argument holds more water in Lusaka. There, like, if someone's doing something, you really don't know because it's so big. But on the Copperbelt, I think it's a different scene. And the youth on the Copperbelt are a different type of youth compared to the Lusaka youth. In that sense, like, people in Kitwe, they'll fail and be successful in your face. But in Lusaka, it's like, you wouldn't really... It's very hard to keep up with who's doing what and whether it's successful.
I think it also depends, though, like, what you define as big, for example. Obviously, changes, people look at them as, like, a big thing, you know, like, oh, you know, cars stop going for 6 hours now. Like, it has to be this grand thing. Mm-hmm. And yet change, obviously, it starts small, it starts, like, happening. That's when over time, that's when you see, like, oh, this person actually started, like, there, and over time, you started to see this change.
Yeah.
As many years, right? Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. Do you think Zambian youth hold on long enough for anybody to even see that change? I mean, in the past 5 years, for example, has anybody stood out to you as being like, okay, I saw this one on that come up and now they're there, you know? Because my argument is that Zambian youth are so lazy, we don't even see them hold on to things. And I mean, the environment itself is also a bit discouraging, but even just personally, even whatever I do with LBC, I think that one day I also might just wipe out because it's normal. Like, it's so normal for businesses to close down.
Normal.
Yeah.
But, like, just because you've been discouraged by one thing and you may stop, like, it's okay. Okay, maybe it depends how you look at it. I think sometimes, like, it is okay to stop and start and, you know, revisit everything. And that same revisiting your whole, for example, LBC, for example, you gave up at one point.
Yeah.
And that whole revisiting thing may take a while to start back up. I mean, if you've been discouraged so many times, it takes much longer to, like, get back up, no matter how much, like, these motivational speakers tell us, you know, get back up, you know.
Preach.
True. Wow, to actually do that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I mean, okay, I've been yeah.
Some people are beaten down to the point where, like, it's not just in Zambia. I think it's everywhere in the world. That's why there's a very small amount of people that are actually really successful, even though success is, you know,
subjective.
It depends on how you look at success. But
yeah. I mean, okay, I'm looking at this China situation right now, and I'm like in Zambia, and I'm just like, how many youth were actually like rooting for a job in Zesco? I think some of these things is like, no, I mean, seriously, some of these things that are being taken over by foreigners, it's because the youth wouldn't do them. I mean, how many people have volunteered? Like, people don't volunteer or, you know, go out of their way to learn about how a thing goes, like, from the ground up. They'd rather come in with like a big degree and expect to be put in a managerial position. Then you wouldn't mind working at Zesco. But right now, it's like everybody's around this controversy, and I'm like, okay, I see it. Obviously, it's a bad thing, but at the same time, is what were the youth going to do about it? What youth were really like lined up saying, you know, I really want to change the power supply in Zambia, and I'm going to start with Zesco. Like, okay, like you were saying, small beginnings. So it's like, I don't know, I just see it as youth being lazy, to be honest. Nobody was going to go and work at Zesco. Yeah, go ahead. No, we lost you. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world when a foreign country comes to take over jobs that were not previously really going anywhere. Everybody's sometimes so focused on starting something new. We forget about the old things that need improvement, So, I don't know.
And that's very true. Like, I think you could look at it as a good and a bad thing. For example, it's made us panic a little bit. And
I agree.
Other people to like be like, oh, okay, snap, this is real.
Yes, no, I agree. That's why I'm really adamant about this whole thing, because to some extent, I'm suddenly seeing the Facebook comments not only being, what can government do? What, your leaders? It's about, oh my gosh, this is so bad. What can I do about it? And I'm like, yes. Like, okay, yes, things are bad. Like, shouldn't really be celebrating about them. But I'm like, finally, people are starting to see that they're part of the puzzle that can actually, make a change. And for me, that's encouraging, because that's something I've really been preaching for the youth. But at the same time, like, even if they realize that people will think they've done their part by really like writing a whole, I don't know, paragraph on Facebook with all these philosophies about how it's still the government's fault, or, just being so vigilant and such a social media warrior. And I feel like people really think they're doing a lot of justice when they're sharing videos, even like, just because they share a video of another news reporter saying Zambia is so bad, they think they've done their part. And it's like, no, this looks like what we always do. Yeah. So I think, I don't know. I think it's a good bad thing.
I see what happens, because, for example, like, this hasn't, maybe it has, but it hasn't really been done before. This hasn't really happened like this event. So maybe people will react in a different
way. That's true.
Right. Well, are people still thinking like, this is the end sort of thing? So it just depends on the mindset of like, is this status going to become an action, or is it going to be the same? Because I also know some people who just write statuses and it's like, but what are you doing about it though?
Right. Yeah. What about those people that say, oh, it's like, it's too late, now that it's being sold, it's so far off now, there's obviously nothing we can do. Do you think all hope is lost, or that's again part of being the lazy narrative that's existed for a while?
I think that's part of being the lazy narrative. For me personally,
it's hard. Yeah.
Will like take a lot of fighting, and it will be lots of hard work, but I still think something can be done. I mean, yes, Zambia, we can argue sometimes, but sometimes we can get things done when needed. Sometimes I look at the elections and how it was for, like, even Repair Banda. When people wanted him out, like, he was out.
They didn't waste time. They're like, we're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Zambians can do things in their own way, and sometimes we have to work together. Like, people have been saying in the past, like, you people don't support Zambian businesses, and now that this China thing is happening, that's when you want to start like
seeing the importance.
You haven't been Zambian businesses before.
Yeah.
So maybe this will encourage people to start Zambian businesses.
It's true. I mean, I was even laughing with a friend today about how like the Superman storyline is really how I think it can really be applied to our country, in the sense that we're almost low-key waiting for this big savior in a cape to come and take us out of our problems. And my friend pointed out, like, the idea of Superman is, yes, he solved the problems, but the people could have done it themselves if they wanted to. They just want, like, we're all, I think, wowed about Superman because he solves these problems faster than humans can. And it's like back home where I feel like we are caught up in that fallacy where we think somebody, a superhero somewhere, maybe, and if it's not Edgar Lungu, let's just keep bashing him till he becomes Superman. And it's like this cycle of just waiting for someone. And it's like, no, Superman is an actual movie, it's not a real thing. You as human beings and citizens of a nation have to sort stuff out. Like, you can't just wait for a man in a cape. Like, when you say it like that, it sounds ridiculous, but in actuality, that's what people are waiting for. When people say, oh no, it's actually really bad now, what can we actually do? What? And it's like, but Superman's not coming, so start thinking. No offense.
Yeah,
Sorry to sound a bit harsh.
Like
Yeah.
people have these ideas, but they just don't have the direction to you know, do what's needed, or especially, for example, one thing we struggle with a lot is like lack of resources and stuff like that. And people think like that's the only thing that could help me at this moment. If I had the resources to do it, then I would do this and this and this. And sometimes people, that's the only focus they have. Like, if I have resources and stuff like that, they don't have other direction or other to do what they want to do.
It's true. People don't really realize the power of ideas. And, you know, I don't think a good idea is something that you think about. I think a good idea is something that's been done. And I think we're always caught up in, no, it's a good idea, it's supposed to bring money. And no, I don't think that's what really, personally, I don't think that's what defines a good idea. I think the definition of a good idea is a plan that is well executed. That's when it's a good idea, when you can actually see it and see it being good. But people back home, like you're saying, they'll complain about, oh, it's reconnecting. People back home will complain about the resources and, you know, the things that they don't have. Meanwhile, it's like, no, actually, that's not really what determines what's a good idea or not. What is a good idea is whether you're working on it and you're putting hard work behind it for it to work. And if it works, then it's a good idea. Like, if it doesn't work, it's wild. Like, even you want to continue making excuses like resources and what, like, if it's a good idea, even without resources, you manage to put it together. And I think that's what's also one of those things that it just continues to comfort us as young people to think, oh no, I don't have the resources, so I won't do it. So it's like, that excuse hasn't worked for people around the world. It hasn't. And
also, I think a lack of teamwork as well. Like, I think as Zambians, a positive, I mean, it can be positive and negative. Like, we like to do things on our own.
What do you preach? Me, I'm out here. Like, I'm in that WhatsApp group.
Like, I don't tell anyone yet, like, it will be my idea, you know? And stuff in that sense, instead of like getting other people to like work with you on this idea. And I know even me, sometimes I struggle within myself where I have an idea, but I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
I want to know, this is my idea, you know, and just through calling other people into your ideas, you're actually expanding on like what you were saying, like making it a good plan in order to execute it.
Well, that's so true. I mean, the thing about collaborations and working with other people, sometimes it also just helps you with some sort of direction with your business. Because if you continue working on it like it's like a painting. Sometimes when you keep on working too closely, you fail to see the whole picture. But then when you start to include other people as potential customers or just advisors, or, you know, like you're saying, teamwork to help you, you take a step back more and you start to see like, okay, this is maybe where we'll fail. This is maybe where we'll succeed. And I think it builds a lot more confidence than working in isolation. That's something people always complain. No, I don't have the confidence. And it's like, yeah, because you keep on working on it by yourself. Like, get other people to fail with you. I mean, you cannot fail, but, you know, do a good job. Yeah.
So.
Oh, thanks, Tasha. Yeah, sorry, I said your name. No, let me continue. Are you giving it up?
I will give up my 50%.
Thank you for letting me win that. So for the next candidate, this is their prize. So 100, 250s.